measures, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello and welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. We have Fleetwood Town to preview this weekend. It's revenge this weekend. Have a full house. We have Mick with us and Danny. Hello, Mick and Danny. So,
hello.
Hello.
We have Will back with us for the first time around. Nice to have you back, Will.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, looking forward to chatting more Millers.
And Ben has turned up at the very last second and made us all unprepared. Thank you for joining us, Ben.
You're welcome.
What this does give us a really good opportunity to do, though, Ben, is to play the advert. So as you will know, we're sponsored by Manscaped. So here is a quick word
I am
from
looking
Ben
forward
and
to
our
this.
sponsors.
Oh no.
Hello and Happy New Year from us all at New York Talk. There's only foreigners, but Happy New Year. Also from a Happy New Year from my friends at Manscaped, who very kindly decided to sponsor us. They're promoting their new product, the Lawnmower 4.0, which is kind of well known for reducing cuts and making it a lot easier to trim your balls. You can buy this separately or in a bundle called the Performance Package, which in that you get a ball toner, and ball deodorant, which are actually very handy because they're specifically designed for your balls. So they work very well. I highly recommend all of this. The lawnmower, it comes with a little light. Comes with a little light there that comes on when you turn the razor on. So it's very good. It comes with a little charging port, which is also a little holder. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I use it, and I highly recommend it.
You highly recommend it, Ben. You highly recommend that somebody goes to manscaped.com and enters the code NYT for free shipping and 20% off. So that's manscaped.com for 20% off free shipping using the code NYT. And Ben highly recommends it.
Every time. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, that's horrible.
Jake Kilman makes a very good point. You can tell Nick wanted to take this out and laughing throughout it.
That was like a fourth take. That was like fourth take.
Hey, I am that childish. I'm oldest there by some distance, and I'm still laughing when he says balls. I really need to grow up, don't I?
Yeah, it's a bit late now.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. But yeah, Manscaped, they are good. Don't believe Mick, they are quite good. So let's talk about Rotherham United. We've got a few things to cover tonight. Should we start with the Papa John's Trophy confirmation? That's only going to take a couple of minutes because it's Pete's Trophy. Confirmation that Cambridge will be playing us again. Like it's been almost a month since we played them, so it is time to play them again this season. Danny, of the three it could have been, how highly did you rank Cambridge in sort of wanted opposition?
I think before they played Newcastle in the FA Cup, I would have put them probably second behind Portsmouth. But you can tell they've took momentum from beating Newcastle and taking it to Portsmouth. And fair play to them, you know. I don't quite know how far Cambridge have made it in the competition in their history. But any club that's made it to the quarterfinals has done very well. Out of the three, though, I would have preferred Exeter, in all honesty, because my mate works there. And so it would have been a chance for him to come up to New York Stadium and me and him to go out on the lash after work. But no, I think I'll take Cambridge. It should be a good game, I think, because we've seen in the advertiser that Warney is up for the cup, which is great to see.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see. Thoughts on it, Will? They're a tough team. We obviously don't know how much change they're going to make it, but if they play anywhere near their strongest team, it's going to be a really tough game in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they're a side that put out a very strong side against Portsmouth, so obviously want to progress in the competition, and why not? You know, it's an opportunity to get get to Wembley, and there's a lot of sides that have been through a lot of hardship that need the money of a Wembley day, and I'm sure Cambridge will be coming up and fancying their chances, to be honest. So we've got to be alert. We've got a really good squad, so a good opportunity to pit their wits against a good Cambridge side. But we'll see where we go. It's an interesting one. See what we can do.
Yeah, fingers crossed that week. I think it's the 24th, isn't it? Tuesday the 24th. It is
25th.
25th, sorry. Yeah, week commences the 24th on Tuesday 25th. So we'll preview that. Harvey Kelwick is with us on the comments, so thank you for joining us. And Reece Kellick is also with us. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So also we should point out what me and Mick and Danny did last night. On Wednesday night, we spoke to Dan Barlasser.
Sorry, Alison.
So in a few weeks' time, around the Pizza Trophy game, we're going to release that episode with Dan Barlasser, and his dog makes an appearance. So anybody that wants to see the dog. I'm not telling you what else he did, but yeah, his Chihuahua makes an appearance. Chihuahua?
Yeah, Chihuahua, yeah.
Yes.
It's well worth a watch just for Chihuahua.
It is, yeah. So thanks him for doing that, and I said, well, it needs some editing because of the dog. So that's going to take us a bit of time, to be honest with you. But that'll be out week of the Pizza Trophy game. Keep an eye out for that. It was good, right, mate?
Yeah. Very interesting. Really good to talk to, and obviously, as everybody has already said, anyway, it's a lovely lad, and he's so easy to chat to, and we had a chat before and a chat afterwards as well. It's brilliant. Really, really good to have people like him at our club, and just as a person, let alone the immense ability that he's got on pitch. He's class act, a class act.
I think
despite being from Newcastle, which who knew.
I think the most surprising thing is learning that he watches my vlogs. That was a bit of an vlogs, okay, because he watched the Cambridge one, and out of all of them, I'd probably say that one because I got the whole goal from Chio up to Barlasser scoring. So no wonder he's watched it. The only embarrassing thing is that he's heard me going absolutely ballistic in the stand. But no, nice to know that a player actually watches my vlogs. So yay.
Yeah, and he follows Mick on Twitter.
Yeah, he does.
Well, we thought that.
We're going places, lads. Get in.
So yeah, let's start with the Fleetwood stuff. We've got some transfer stuff to talk about later on, but let's start with Fleetwood. This is the return fixture of our worst performance of the season. One of our worst performances of the season. Ben, were you at the original Fleetwood game before I start asking you questions about it?
Was it in August?
September. Early September.
You remember 11th, I think it was.
Everybody there, I think, remembers.
Yeah, I think we never played.
Remember you weren't there.
We never played well against Fleetwood. I remember it was in Malta a couple of years back on the lads' holiday. Not. We were at Championship and we lost first game of season to Fleetwood due to.
Yeah, it was the first game after we got relegated, weren't it?
Yeah, and we lost. Was it in Championship or was it League One?
League One.
League One. We lost 3-2 or 2-0.
Yeah.
I know the fact that we lost. I thought it was Championship and we lost 3-2. Whatever. We never seem to win against Fleetwood. It's a bit of a bogey team, but yeah, I don't know where they are in the league, but they're not setting the world on fire, are they? So I don't see it's just another game in it. So I don't see why we can't win.
Yeah, the result against us seemed to be a bit of an anomaly because if you watch that game, watch none of their games this season, you assume they're going to be a pretty good team because they caused us a lot of problems in a lot of different areas of the pitch. Since they've had a change of manager, haven't they? Simon Grayson was the manager at the time. Who's their manager now? I hadn't checked that. I should have checked. Does anybody know?
Stephen Craney.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. They say 19th, Ben. 2 points outside the relegation zone. So they are struggling. I don't know. What do you expect from Fleetwood? Because different manager, different.
That's a very broad question, isn't it? So, they're a side that are scoring for where they are in the league. They're scoring a lot of goals. So 37 goals so far represents the ninth most in the league. And a lot of those have been scored via set pieces. So they scored 14 goals from set pieces, and that's always going to happen when you've got the quality of Danny Andrew. I think we saw that at the New York Stadium, to be fair. Already got 6 goals and 6 assists. But under Stephen Craney, they've also been playing a lot more through the midfield. So they've got Jay Matete that sits sort of at the base of the midfield, receiving the ball from the centre-backs, will then play in, the likes of Callum Camps, who was prolific at the New York. And they've got a left winger called Callum Camps, called Paddy Lane, who was a guy that they've signed from Hyde United in the summer, 20 years old. And he's already picked up 8 assists this season, so pretty decent pick up from their end. Of course,
did he take set pieces
from the New York was the performance of Callum Morton, who unfortunately for Fleetwood has now returned to West Brom and gone back out on loan to our good friends Peterborough. Best of luck to Callum there. But yeah, should be a really difficult game. I don't think the table reflects how difficult it'll be, and I'm sure you guys were about to highlight this, but we actually, as far as I can see, have never actually won at Fleetwood, so I think it'd be a really good time to break the duck.
We've never won at Fleetwood.
Oh dear.
We haven't played them many times, so let's be,
First game in 2012.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they are the Newt League, aren't they? They are a newcomer. But yeah. Yeah, it's a banana skin, Danny, like Will says, and like we know from the first time around. They've got the players in there to cause us problems. Morton's not there, which he was key to hurting Woody's afternoon that day. But they're still going to have quality, as will most teams in this league.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said it was a bit of a... I'd put a bit of an advantage for us. West Brom we're calling Callum Morton, but Fleetwood have replaced him with Ellis Harrison. And from how he's played, from how I'm looking at how he's played against Doncaster, he has actually filled Morton's shoes quite well. I mean, he scored on his debut.
It is Donny.
Yeah, it is Donny. Yeah, but to just come straight into a new side and then score on your debut, he has hit the ground running. But Fleetwood are actually in a very goodish run of form. They've only lost one of the last 5, which was against Shrewsbury on the 27th. So yeah, like I say, it's going to be a little bit of banana skin, but we said that when we played them last time, and that was a big banana skin, and we very, very nearly fell flat on our arse against that one. But unfortunately, we somehow did a flip and landed on our feet, and then went on 21 games unbeaten. So again, there's swings and roundabouts of football, innit? But like I say, with Fleetwood, we've not won at their place, but we've not really played them that much. So it does have potential to be one of them where it's like, right, we've got a blank page, let's just put in the best performance that we can. And from what I've been reading the advertiser, we've got a full strength squad. There are no injuries. Wiles is back from his back injury. Miller's back as well, so we've got a full squad to pick from. So I think we can take the momentum from playing really well against QPR, even though we lost on penalties, but we can sort of excuse that, if that makes sense, Take that momentum, take it to Fleetwood, and just keep going, because I thought we were very good in midfield against QPR. And if Fleetwood are a bit more midfield orientated, if we can stop them playing their way and concentrate on getting the ball wide to Chio or Fergie or Miller or whoever starts, we could break them down quite easily. But we just have to be mindful of their set pieces, because we know what they're about, don't we? Oh, that wonder goal. Oh, dear. It still gives me nightmares.
Yeah. It's going to be, they're inconsistent. Like I said, they've only lost one of the last 5, but then they went on a long period of games without winning. So that just shows the inconsistency, which is why you find yourself 18th, 19th. That's why the teams, and not because they're bad teams, they're inconsistencies. If they were bad teams, you'd be bottom league like Donny. From us, Mick, technically 3 games unbeaten, because obviously the QPR game was technically a draw. It's, again, the shoots of positivity again after the Accrington loss and the Bolton game, which wasn't a great performance. The Crew and the QPR game, there was a step up in performance. And if we keep that going, we'll be fine. but we've got to keep that performance level at a consistent level. That will keep us up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it, haven't we? Ad infinitum for the last, I don't know how many podcasts of the performance levels had dropped. And I think they probably stayed the same in that first half against Crewe as well. It was only in the second half that we really seemed to step it up, and then at QPR we started to look a lot more like ourselves. I think looking back at the Fleetwood game at New York Stadium, I think that is, well, we all know that was an anomaly. You know, that is not Rotherham United, and we've proved that since then. But what it does tell us that if we do have that drop off in form, if we do let our guard down, they will punish us. But I suppose you could say that about just about any team in this division. You know, we know that we have got enough to see off Fleetwood. We know we've got enough to see off anybody in this division. Anybody. So it's just a question of whether we can hit those heights or start to reach towards those heights that we reached, you know, when we were in the middle of that unbeaten run. We don't need to be scared, do we? We just need to go in there and perform to our best, and we'll turn them over. We will turn them over so long as we're able to get those levels up, and that's key. That's key because of what's been going on in the last few games for me.
What for the performance?
Yeah. In terms of performance levels, in terms of quality that we've shown, I think it's really, well, we've talked about it. It did drop off in the run up to Christmas, and it's just about starting to come back to a bit of a level now. So hopefully it continues on Saturday.
We're playing 50 games a season, and we're not a Premier League team. So we are the best team in this league, but like it's hard to keep that focus for 50 games a season, and especially, no offense to the players because it's a great team, but unless you're a Premier League quality team, it's very hard. Unless you've got them facilities and that kind of coaching, it's hard to keep that focus for a whole year.
And bear in mind as well, we're such a high pressing, high energy team. You know, something's going to have to give. You know, all the players have got the quality, but it's whether it's being able to balance the two, isn't it? You know, the quality and the hard work, and that's where it can fall down.
Definitely.
Yeah, it is. And it's time to start looking at other teams as well. It feels like we're only halfway through the season, really, but it almost feels like it's business time. You know, we start looking at Sunderland result midweek, and we'll start looking at Wigan's results. 24 games in, it's actually lit earlier than it feels. I don't know if anybody else feels the same. It sort of feels intense already, and you don't normally feel that till end of February time. It's about to get more intense, I suppose.
I think that's because we are the chased, aren't we, rather than the chasers. And you know, we've had a couple of opportunities where we could put some daylight between us and the teams below us, and we've not taken it. We've now got another opportunity to do that. So hopefully we'll take it this time. But when you're the one being chased, it's the pressure's a lot more than when you're chasing. And we usually at this stage of the season we're doing a Wednesday and looking up. You know, and
not yet. Like I said, not only the pressure is higher, but it's harder to fire your team up when you're top of the league. It's not hard, but it's harder than when you're second and you're chasing someone because
it seems to have a target in it.
You're not chasing out, are you? It's very hard to. It's very easy to be like, oh, top of the league. I'm not going to do that. I'm top. You know what I mean? To relax a little bit. It's very easy. Very easy to do that.
It would be. It doesn't feel like a Paul-worn trait, but I know what you're saying.
No. That's what I'm just saying. It's harder to fire up your team when you're not the underdog.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Baz, it's nice to see Sunderland lose on Tuesday, but Lincoln seemed to find the form, and we played them on Tuesday. Very good point. And Darren Clark, hey up lads, who do you think are Rotherham's biggest threat in the title race? He thinks Wigan. He hopes Donny can do Rotherham a favour on Saturday and beat them. Yeah, we all hope Donny can do us a favour, but I would not put a single penny on that.
Bottom of the league, aren't they, Donny?
Yes. But they just signed Kieran Agard, so that's good for him.
Is he still playing?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's not that old, I don't think.
I thought he in his peak when he came to us.
No, we're sort of still coming up a little bit.
Oh, is it?
He is 32, so not old, but Anyway, Will, who is our biggest threat? It's Wigan, isn't it? Really?
So, this is a difficult one. I think there's a couple of reasons that Wigan could and couldn't be our biggest rivals. Obviously, they've got about 300 games in hand on everyone, which obviously helps. But what I would say is, as proven last season, you can have as many games in hand as you want. You've got to take the points. Mm-hmm. So it's not a given, what I would say. For me, I disagree. I think our biggest contenders are Wycombe. And that's purely because I don't think anyone enjoys playing Wycombe. I think when it gets to the crunch of those last 10 or 15 games, they've proven last season that they're in for a fight, and that manager will not allow them to have a day off. So there might be a few points behind us, and we've got an upper hand at the moment, but I think they'll give 120% right until the end of the season, which is why, I think they'll be pushing at the top of the playoffs right into automatic promotion places. So Wycombe for me, but I can see the clamour for Sunderland, who will probably sign some players on some ridiculous amount of money. I know Wigan have just signed Josh McGuinness today, who's a great addition to their squad. That. So, writing no one off at the moment. I think we've just got to look at what we're doing and make sure that we can get results. And if we get to the end of March and we're still sat top 2, I think I'd be pretty happy at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. Wycombe are a worry for me. You don't want to get in a fight with Wycombe, because they will make it very, very dirty and take it down wherever they need to take it.
Yeah, but for me, that's how you beat them. I mean, you can't play nice football when they're not trying to play football. You know what I mean?
That's their key, isn't it? That's their joker.
Well, yeah.
How do you play against them? It's so difficult.
Get them sent off.
It's the will.
Because they will. They will. They are not good enough. Who's that guy up front? What's his name? Cash.
Oh, he's gone. Cashcat.
Oh, is it? I'm sure they've got a weakness player on their team that will is a loose cannon. Play with a team like that. There is someone on their team that likes a red card, that likes a good challenge, and you get him sent off, and then they can't do all because they got 10 men. In my opinion.
But then will they work doubly hard to try and get one of your men sent off and make it even Stevens?
Well, that's fine. Well, if your player gets sent off, then you give him clip round back at head because he knows the game plan. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a football manager though, so I can't. I'm not. Yeah, really, I'm not a football manager. Obviously, I'm 17.
I see where a lot of people are coming from with Wycombe, and the whole anti-football thing reverberates around League One every time Wycombe are probably going to screenshot that and send me a bit of abuse. Wycombe, they've got that reputation, haven't they? But what I would say is they're very effective at what they do. So, whether you like it or not, they'll be playing the same way until the end of the season. And let's be fair, we're a side that's been tarred with the same brush previously. Who fit long. And all that sort of thing. So there's nothing wrong with the way they're trying to play football. I don't personally enjoy it, and I know a few of us on the pod tonight probably agree. But they're getting results, and that's why they are of concern to me.
Yeah.
Well, their manager probably don't enjoy playing it, but I'm sure he enjoys winning games. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
That's the whole
it's
point.
About getting results. They found a system that works, and we've got whatever their squad size is, 20-man squad that is drilled into the ground about what they do and how they do it, and they're successful. Yeah. I watched last half an hour of their game against Bolton, and it was a tough watch.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I was just interested to know if they just say with everyone else, and they do. They're so effective at what they do. They're already 2-0 up, and the ball was barely in game, but it works.
You do realise you could have looked out that window and watched grass starting to grow, didn't you? It would be a bit more interesting, a bit more entertaining.
I stupidly turned the Sunderland game off before watching Lee Johnson get sent off, so I was disappointed in myself. Okay, let's move on towards a bit more. Danny, as you mentioned, a full squad. Even Angus McDonald's back, so it is a properly full squad. We made some changes because the FA Cup, but it was still strong. The big question for me is the midfield. Barlas is going to start. Rathbun's probably going to start. You question then becomes Sadlier or Wiles. Wiles is back. Sadlier's done all right. Where are you sitting in that question at the minute?
I think because we have the mindset of if you play well, the shirt's yours and it's the other guy's job to win it off you, sort of thing. I could see Sadlier playing as a number 10 again. Because like Will said about Fleetwood being rather heavy in midfield, if we are equally as heavy but also on the ball quicker in midfield and have that bit of trickery about us that Sadlier does bring to the table when it pays off for him and he doesn't try and do too much with it, that could be another way through. You know, if we're playing a very attacking midfield with both Barlas and Sadlier in it, it could work in our favour. But a lot of people did slate Sadlier for his performance against QPR, but then again, he's against championship players, and this is what Barlas has said to us when we chatted to him in the championship, sort of let you have more time on the ball. Which, I don't know, could make Sadlier try and think too quickly whilst he's trying to do too much, if that makes sense.
I think that's one of his problems. I think when he has time to think, I think it hurts his game.
Yeah.
I think it suits him to be, for it to be a bit more frenetic, I think.
Yeah, for it to be more of a pass, move, receive, distribute, and then move again sort of game, yeah. But yeah, I'd go with Sadlier, I think. Unless Wiles has been absolutely exceptional in training and has been pinging balls about left, right, and centre and scoring them like it's a striker, I'd keep Sadlier in personally.
Yeah, it's a good question to have to ask yourself, Paul Warren. Which one of those play? I really want Sadlier to do well because he's one of them players. If he starts doing well and starts playing really well, he's going to be amazing to watch because he'll ping him in. He'll do all these magical things, but he just needs to find a bit more consistency. Ben, you've been one of his biggest critics. But you were very impressed against Bolton. QPR did okay. Where are you sitting on the Sadlier fence?
That's a good question. It's so hard to comment on that when you're not seeing him every day in practice, training, because I don't know. I don't know what he's like in training. I don't know if he slags it off. I don't know.
Just go on what you've seen on football pitch.
No. Because he's playing for all right.
You can't base it on anything else.
Yeah, I'm saying no. I'm saying I wouldn't start. I'm playing.
Oh, sorry.
Because he's, for me, he's not athletic enough. I don't think to play the position he wants to play. I don't think he's athletic enough, and I hate that. I hate that term, athletic enough. But I don't think he is. I don't think he's. I don't want to get pinned up in the dressing room. The video get pinned
That'd be good if you're motivating him. That's good.
Yeah, it is. But you know, I'm sure he's a really nice kid. But I just don't see it. I don't see the potential.
Okay, I thought you'd change your mind after Bolton game, but
no, I played all right. Listen, I'm open to being proved wrong. I hope that it does prove me wrong. But if I'm the manager, which can I point out, I'm not. Again, no, because one thing I hate, all these fans are, I'll do this, I'll do this, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. So why aren't you manager then? You know what I mean?
I mean, as a podcast, that's kind of what we're here to do.
You know what I mean, though. The people on Twitter saying, "Oh, he should be sacked. I would do this." Yeah, mate, you're on Twitter. Just calm it. You know what I mean? But yeah, personally, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's just me. I don't see him in training every day.
Fair enough. Josh Smith, Wiles back for him. He's had a rest, albeit through injury. He's our best midfielder on his day. And I suppose, I think what Ben's trying to say, Mick, is it gives us that bit more physicality. He's stronger than Sadlier. He's not scared to get going for a tackle with Sadlier. He meshes him a bit. Wiles wins the battle on that category, doesn't he, really?
Ben Wiles is our best midfielder, one of our best midfielders, probably one of the best midfielders in this division on his day. If he's back fit again, for me, it's a no-brainer. There's no way that Ben Wiles gets dropped for me if he's fit and on form. I would caveat that with what Ben's just said there. He's got to be performing in training again because his performances did drop off. We don't know whether that was down to this back injury that had been carrying or what. I don't know. But for me, if Ben Wiles is fully fit, he's in the team. That's the end of that one for me.
Fair enough. Will, I'll give you the deciding vote because I would keep Sadler because I think he's done all right. Where's the podcast going based on what you say?
I mean, for me, I would play Wilesy purely because, as I mentioned, quite a lot of their play will come through that defensive midfield area. So we need to stop it at source. For me, Sadlier is a different player to Ben Wiles. Sadlier is not as good off the ball as Wiles, so that's why I would play Wiles. But look, the quality that Sadlier has on the ball, coming on as a 10 in that second half proved the difference against the quality operator a couple of weeks ago. So, you could make a case for both, but for me, Ben Wiles is one of the first names on the team sheet if fit.
I think if Sadlier doesn't start, he definitely plays because, like we say, he changes the way our midfield operates, which could upset Fleetwood towards the end of the second half. If we just change the way our midfield operates late in the second half, when they're already a bit on the puffing side, shall we say, the stamina of our squad will bulldoze them if we change our midfield late in the second half. And like when we chatted to Barlasser yesterday, he said we're probably the fittest team in division. And I'm inclined to agree. The amount of running that our squad does is incredible. And as Lewis Wing said in an interview at the start of the window when he left, some players don't like it, but you have to be committed to the cause to be here and like it and get on with everybody, which is why I'm very annoyed at someone's letter in the Advertiser the other week. It's about someone going to watch the Titans because Warney's comments about players being committed and he don't believe it. It's a load of pish, to be honest, but it's one of them things. Hey, it's this Rotherham fan apparently who said he's not going to watch football anymore. He's going to go off and watch Rotherham Titans because of he's not believing that players are committed and he don't believe it and this, that, and other. And it's like, mate, do what you want. I'm sure Rotherham Titans is a lovely place to go and watch rugby, and they're second in league as well. So
is it a fan or
apparently?
You got to assume so.
Wait, don't you facility every day? Talking laughing, isn't he?
There is also a follow-up in the Advertiser this week from another fan that's writing in response to that fan saying yes, stick to rugby.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one thing that you cannot question about this squad this season and about the management team at Rotherham United and the club as a whole, if there's one thing you cannot comment on or argue about, it is commitment. The commitment is 100% from everybody, top to bottom, and it's clear to anybody at all that has watched any of the games this season. I mean, that's just the most bizarre thing I've ever heard, quite frankly.
You've got to bear in mind it's the writing section to a newspaper, a local newspaper at that. You've got to bear in mind
local newspapers. Yeah.
My granddad once wrote a letter to the Advertiser complaining about the state of bus in Rotherham. Bear in mind, he didn't get on a bus ever.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that expects local newspaper.
Fair comment. Yeah.
But with the whole 100% commitment, even with Freddie, even though he wants to leave and he sees his career elsewhere, he is still committed to this squad. Because you watch how he played against Crewe when he knew he'd submitted it and how much he was willing on the penalties from the sideline against QPR. Even though he wants away and sees his career elsewhere, he's still committed to the squad because they're all mates. In an interview that Josh Keogh did, he said that Freddie has been his biggest criticiser in terms of developing and giving him advice, but it's what he wants. He wants someone to be on the nose with him and just say, this is what you need to do. And Freddie's been his best mate in that regard. So even though I could understand a few fans being annoyed that, we're top at league, we're one of the best teams in the league, and Freddie wants out of it, I can understand the frustration, but he's still committed. You know what I mean? He's still committed and he still wants the best for us, even if he doesn't see himself being part of it, but he's still 100% behind it, which is something you sort of have to give him credit for, because some players will just go, I want out, I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm not going to bother until my move comes. But with Freddie, he's like, It's my decision. I want to move away. I want to try my hand somewhere else, but I'm still backing you lot whilst I'm here. So.
Well, that brings on to sort of the next chat of the starting lineup, really. Who are you starting up front? Obviously, Michael Smith. That's the right question. Let's pick some injury on Friday. Michael Smith's going to be starting. Ben, I'll come to you because we don't have the Freddie chat. I assume you're not starting Freddie. You're going to go Will Grigg or JJ?
Yeah, they've been playing better in training. I wouldn't start Freddie. I don't think it's fair to the rest of the team. I'd keep him on the bench, obviously just in case, because he's a good player and I've been cheering on. But no, I wouldn't start him. I'd start JJ. To be honest.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I take that back. I started playing better in training.
You're still allowed to pick somebody, so you've said JJ.
I'm not at the training ground, so I don't know.
Too late. You said JJ.
Nobody's going to crucify you if it's wrong.
I know, but I'm just saying what I would do if I would pick where playing better.
But if you had to pick somebody based on how they played football, you'd pick.
I would pick Jay. I would pick. I don't know. I'd pick Greg. I pick Greg because I feel like he.
Ben, just pick a name and stick with it.
I feel like he deserves more of an opportunity than he's had.
Oh,
Greg.
Okay.
Right.
That was hard work, that, to be honest with you.
Always is. If you give Ben two choices, you know that. If you give him two choices, he'll go for one, and then you'll go really, and he'll go for other one.
That's true.
That's how it works.
Will, I'm hoping for a much more logical answer, and I expect you to give me a well thought out answer.
Mine was logical.
In fairness, his answer was logical, so I feel like that's a little bit harsh on him. For me, Greg has to play. He's, I think, a guy that is really intelligent, both on and off the ball. We're going to create a lot of chances, I hope, on Saturday against Fleetwood. We need that fox in the box that's going to put them away. And for me, that's Will Grigg to a T. So Will Grigg would start for me. Coyote off the bench is a great asset to have. So yeah, would expect to see that. But yeah, Will Grigg starts on Saturday for me. Is that succinct enough for you?
I like it, yeah. I could follow your reasoning. Ben would just, I'll do this, no, I'll do that. No, hang on.
No, I said, no, you made me pick. I said who's ever been playing better in practice, and then you made me pick, which I didn't want to do.
Okay, right. Well, again, we've not obviously weren't with us last week for the Freddie bombshell. Where are you standing on the whole saga up to now?
Whew. This is a pretty difficult one for me. So before the news broke, in a group chat, I said that I was so confident Freddie Ladapo wasn't leaving Rotherham United, I would wear a Doncaster shirt for the rest of the season. And then the official club thing broke about 3 minutes later. So egg on the face there. In terms of the actual situation, for me, I don't know enough of the ins and outs of what Freddie wants to do and all that sort of thing. And I don't think it's fair for us as fans to judge, the decision. From a fan's point of view, I'm disappointed that he wants to go because, we're in a great position. But from a human element, if someone came to me and said, no matter how good the company was doing that I work for, there was another opportunity elsewhere. It was going to be better paid. It was going to be a better opportunity for me. I'd be stupid not to look at it, would I not? So I don't have any malice towards Freddie Ladapo for the decision that he's made. Am I disappointed? Yes. Is the timing of it a little bit untoward? Yes. Do I agree that it took a call from his agent to Paul Warne to know about the situation? I think that's completely unacceptable, and Freddie should hold his hands up on that and say, I got that wrong. From my perspective, I don't think that's right, but he might follow different values. And for me now, let's focus on the positives. We've got two great strikers at the club. Three. 3, Michael Smith, Will Grigg, and probably one of the best academy prospects that we've ever created in JJ. That's where we need to put our focus now, and looking at, you know, potentially who could come in as well, which I'm sure the club are doing, you know, night and day if Freddie does go. If he gets on that pitch as a supporter of the football club, I'll back him as much as I possibly can, because that's my job. That's what I am there to do. So yeah, I know there are other people that are watching the podcast tonight that have a differing view and won't back Freddie because of the decision that he's made, and that's their viewpoint. But for me, you know, I have no malice towards him. If he goes on, has a great career, you know, it's a short one, so good luck to him. But yeah, disappointing. But you know, no one's bigger than the club. We move on, and I'm sure whoever comes in, hopefully, will buy into what we're trying to do here and put us a little bit closer to winning that league title.
Ben, again, I've not spoke to you since the story broke, really. Again, you've been similar to Sadler, one of his biggest critics, but again, where do you sit?
I mean, listen, people need to understand that he's Freddie Oladapo. I don't know about his personal life. I don't know if he's got a girlfriend or whatever, but he's still somebody's son, somebody's boyfriend, maybe, whatever. You know what I mean? He's got a life. Football's not his life. Yeah, I mean, you don't know whether he's got a better opportunity somewhere. He doesn't like Rotherham. His family's not happy here, or whatever the case may be. You don't know, and maybe someone's paying better, because especially when it comes down to like League One, League Two, so the pay is not people that imagine being a professional footballer. It's not like after football. It's not pretty life. Like they have to get another job, because the pay is not good enough to live off. If you're, I mean. Yeah, Championship you might get away with if you invest it wisely, but League 1 and 2, I mean, it's very. You have to be very lucky if you don't have to work again after football. So you don't know, and the fact that he was there supporting on Saturday says that there's no, you know what I mean. I think that's something to be not happy about, but nothing to worry about, because he's not got Mardis on. He's not sulking. There's no bitter relationship there. So yeah, he's got a life. He can do what he wants, and if he wants to move away, that's his decision, isn't it? You know what I mean? So yeah, no hard feelings. Can't take it personally, because I know some fans will be like, "Oh, why does he want to leave our club?" He's a human being at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So he can't. It's kind of hard to judge another person's decision when you're never going to be in that position, or a lot of us have never been in that position. So.
Yeah, fair enough then. Thank
you.
Tell us what's quite in the advertisers today, making not today, in the last couple of days, and basically said what we wanted to say is our player until the money is paid. I get a lot of stick from Wednesday fans saying, "Oh, he'll be gone for £5.50 in a couple of weeks' time," that kind of thing. But the words coming out of the club are, and for the other players out of contract, is if you want him, you pay what we want for him. Otherwise, he stays. And that's what we've got to start doing. We can't be selling Ajayi for 1.5 million anymore. We need to be standing our ground and saying, this is what he is worth.
Yeah, 100%. And those are all the noises that are coming out of the club. Like you said, from Tony Stewart, from Paul Warren, and you know, that's brilliant. That's what we want, and that's what we need. And it's just another indication that this club is going in the right direction. It's been run properly by people who may not have known what they were doing right at the very start, but they've learned, and they've learned quickly, and they've developed as football managers, as football chairmen, as football people, because it's very different to a lot of other businesses. So yeah, it's great that those sorts of noises are coming out of the club, and if they see it through as well, happy days. That's exactly what we want. It's great news.
Yeah. A couple more comments. I'm a player. Well, after the QPR game, you start Icky after he's finished. And Bazza would start JJ. I think I'll get a start in extra weeks, potentially JJ. He's not far off deserving one, is he? Ref watch. Robert Lewis is the referee against Fleetwood. He last refereed us against Wigan. Wigan, obviously at Wigan's place. I can't really remember anything about the referee, if I'm honest. I may be wrong. So maybe call me out. But I know it's a free kick in the end, but I think it was a free kick that I don't think gave away. I think it was right. Anybody else? Anything? I can't really remember him. which is good.
No, I think he were just consistent, really. I mean, with referees at this level, they're never going to be exceptional, are they? Like we've seen that time and time again. But if they're consistent with the decision making, and there's no like terrific howler or anything like that, it's like, all right, fair enough. Hope he has a good game. To be fair,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the mark of a good referee, I think, is probably not being seen.
Yeah.
So for me, if he's made no glaring errors, which I'm sure you can go back to a few games this season and mention a few referees, I'm not gonna. Then that's Mick's job. For me,
he's been told off for that
decent
now.
ref.
Yeah, he's let his lesson now. Probably might not be the last one, Freddie, but Josh Smith. Freddie only cares about Freddie, so that when he referenced himself as the club's record signing when he first signed, as well as rumours regarding Freddie last season at training. Apparently, Will knows about that. Yeah, if he's in for himself, that's fine. I don't mind people being in for themselves as long as they're helping the club. He has helped the club, to be fair to him.
So there you go. That's that bottom, isn't it? Really, and I think that's succinctly put, Matt. And like everybody else has said, we're all in it for ourselves. We all got to work for ourselves. Ultimately, if we're not happy at work, we go somewhere else. So I'd start Will Grigg on Saturday. I'd start Will Grigg, and I'll tell you for why. It's the 15th of January. Can't be called back after Saturday. So I said when he signed, I want him starting scoring goals the day that he can't be called back by Sunderland. Saturday's that day. So it's a hat trick for Will Grigg Saturday. You heard it here first. Get a tenner on it.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to other people that don't want to be here, and also loanees who can't be called back after Saturday. Curtis Tilt.
Do you want me to go now, or is that what you mean? You talking about me?
Yeah. So again, another line that's a hard line that's come out of the club, Danny, is we are going to call him back unless they pay us the fee that we want for him. That's exactly how we should be playing the game.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see, isn't it? I mean, in the past few years, we've sort of seen like players go out, players be on loan at us and clubs to recall them and to send them elsewhere because we didn't want to pay that sort of fee for him. But for us to now be stood fast on the decision, if you don't give us what we want, we'll have him back. And then we'll either send him somewhere who wants to pay that much for him, or we'll probably try and squeeze him in somewhere this season. If we get an injury in defence, or if Woody's a bit tired on a Tuesday sort of thing. Because, Richard Wood played 120 minutes. I never thought I'd see that this season. And apparently he were our 10th penalty taker, wasn't he? After Sherwood scored, yeah. But yeah, for the club to be stood fast on the whole thing of, we're having him back unless you pay us however much. I don't know the figures or anything, but I imagine we'd want the 100k minimum that we paid for him back, plus a bit extra.
Might even be worth more. It's worth more than that. If he's playing well for a team or have the best points per game in the league, or he's not playing every game, but he's playing a fair amount, it's worth more than 100k, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly like that, a little bit more. But yeah, with the whole Tilt situation, for a club like Rotherham that has been painted with the brush that we get as much money for we can out of a player, even if it's like on the cheap. To say we are now stood fast on two players saying Freddie's not leaving unless we get what we want, and you're not having Tilt unless you pay us what we want, it's a very good position to be in as Rotherham United. But one last word on Freddie is that we've had no bids for him whatsoever. That's just not in January. That's over his whole 2.5 years at Rotherham. There's been no bids for him whatsoever.
Very strange.
Yeah.
If we manage to get rid of Tilt, Nick, and make a profit on him, that would be one of the best bits of business. Bear in mind, he's played one game for the club. It would be brilliant business.
Has he played?
He played Rochdale that game before lockdown.
That game.
They were terrible.
That 3-0 loss, was it?
Everyone were terrible, to be fair.
You can't judge him on that game. Yeah, it was great business, wasn't it? Great business.
What were we going to pay $1 million for him?
They wanted $500,000 at window before or something like that.
Yeah, they
want
$500,000 from like us, Bolton but a couple of clubs, didn't they?
Ipswich were after him.
Ipswich. We rejected all our bids and then we signed him for 100k. And yeah, didn't we? Good bit of business, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other transfer rumours? I've seen it very, very quiet, which again is what we kind of want. Anything that's worth
the only
mentioning?
bit of thing I've seen is that Pompey have shown a bit of admiration for Sadlier, and there might be a little bit of interest there. Because the Cowleys wanted to sign Sadlier from Doncaster whilst they were still managing Lincoln. And this quote was brilliant. He said, we wanted to sign Sadlier from Doncaster, but they were the bigger entity back then. That these completely finessing Doncaster, it were hilarious. But yeah, so they're still interested in Sadlier, but again, no bids have come in on virtually no interest for any players other than KO'd. But they've been told a swift no, he's staying here and he wants to stay here. But yeah, other than Sadlier, it's been very, very quiet, which is great to see, I think.
Yeah, it is.
There is the amusing, interesting Johnson Clark Harris, which I found quite comical.
Who's interested?
£6 million, Johnson Clark Harris.
Sunderland interested in paying £6 million for Johnson Clark Harris. I thought when I read that it was like a spoof. I thought I thought it would be like a spoof account, but it was a genuine account. I don't know where some of these people get the sources. But I mean, that for me, and I might be wrong because I've obviously not seen him play for a while. But he's not getting in the Peterborough side every week, is he? I don't think.
It was tearing it up for Bristol a couple of years ago.
He scored about 1,000 goals last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen that before from Sunderland, haven't we? Overpaying for a striker of League One's level.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was on their documentary, wasn't it? And funnily enough, that player's now here.
Exactly.
So they're going to pay £6 million for him, and we're going to get him back on loan in 2 seasons.
You know what? I'd take him back. I thought he had a good player with good potential. I just think he didn't have the right attitude. And I think if he's grown, I think if he's grown mentally, I think he could be a real good player. Genuinely,
Diaz.
I'm not convinced he has, but I'm saying if he could, I think he got. I mean, listen, this guy could break a net with the amount of power he could put behind the ball. I think he had the potential to be a very good player, but didn't use it properly.
Well, it's
shown last season.
Only 4 goals this season, the Championship. But like I said, last season in all competitions, 33. That's an incredible total for a league season. Yeah. Crazy money, but that's what we've got to compete with, isn't it? You know what I mean? Crazy stuff. I think took about most off my list. Is there anything else that anyone wants to touch on, bring up, mention? I'm sure I forgot something, but I don't know. Should we play Mick's advert again?
No.
My advert? You didn't say,
Sorry.
A bit more information has come out on the Will Grigg situation that I've seen in the advertiser. They haven't confirmed the date for his recall expiring, but I imagine if Tilts is around the 15th, his will be around the 15th as well. But they've said they've confirmed that he can't sign for any other EFL club this season. It's either us or Sunderland. So if Sunderland do recall him, which I find very, very doubtful, to be honest, if they do recall him, they can't send him anywhere else. He'd have to go up to Scotland.
Why has he played for Sunderland this season?
I think he didn't play in the League Cup for Sunderland and then the majority of league for us.
You can't play for more than 2, can you?
Yeah, so Sunderland are a little bit stuck, and I imagine that's why Lee Johnson has assured Paul Warne that he's not going anywhere, because he effectively can't, but I think the article that was published about exclusive Sunderland set to recall Will Grigg, it's like, sure? You know what I mean? Like, timing was a little bit squiggly with that, because Paul Warne just said that I've got reinsurances from Lee Johnson because we spoke at length, and he said he's not going anywhere. They just recalled 2 players from League 2 to fill out a match day squad, and then suddenly Will Grigg's going to be recalled. It's like, are you sure?
Can I just get something off my chest, which is in regards to any sort of transfer window whatsoever. I absolutely cannot stand this time of year, and the reason for that is because it brings out all these absolute idiots that have no idea about football whatsoever, tweeting or whatever social media thing you want to go with about, all these players that are moving to all these places, and it just turns out to be absolute crap. And I think the Johnson Clark Harris thing for me is absolute crap or an agent that's trying to tout his player to try and get some money out of it. That's what it looks like to me. Dara McAnthony is a guy that would say that, he's worth that level of money. A little bit of lazy journalism says Sunderland have got some money. Let's say he's going there.
Yeah.
And that's how it comes about. And I think as fans, we just have to try and look past some of this crap that's coming out, to be honest. Like, I don't understand where the rumour started that Will Grigg was going back to Sunderland, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah. He's already said that he doesn't want to play for Sunderland and that he's done there. The loan thing, Danny, that you mentioned is tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So that's when all clubs have got to
is it like a league-wide thing?
I believe it's EFL wide. So and then last year they changed. It was 3 clubs that you could play for last year, but then this season they moved it back to 2. So as you say, rightly, Danny, he can't play for anyone else. It doesn't make sense for him to go back to Sunderland because he don't want to be there, and they've got players that do want to play, and I think momentum is a very, very big thing in football. Ben probably will agree, I think, and in terms of him going back and potentially upsetting the apple cart, they absolutely will not want to do that. In the same respect, I think it's probably the same with Curtis Tilt for us. Do we really need him back in the squad? No. For me, we've got Angus MacDonald that comes back into it, in a defence that people are struggling to get in already. Do we really need a character of Curtis Tilt back in the squad? No. Left centre-backs are at a premium, as always, left-footed centre-backs. So let's get as much money as we possibly can for Curtis. But yeah, on the whole transfer window thing, I absolutely hate it, and I cannot wait for the 1st or the 2nd of February to come round, because then all these little virgins that have set up all their Twitter accounts will go back into their holes, never to be seen again. If you're one of them, please shut your account down.
You see, I'm the opposite. I like it to see how much crap comes out of these accounts and how funny it is. Because like you say, if you look at it from a footballing perspective and you look at like a deal that's been announced, it's like, why? Because I'm sure some people have already seen, but I have got a piece up on New York Talk website that talks about everything that's been mentioned with Rotherham, like done deals, and about Jake Hull moving to Hartlepool and other deals that have happened. But then we get onto the juicy things, which is the transfer rumours. And one of the first ones I saw was that Mikel Miller has apparently got interest from Barnsley and Luton. Why? Why? You know what I mean? What else have we got?
I think they've got a ball. It's like FA Cup draw, and somebody just picks a number out, and that's who they're linked with.
Yeah, and the next time at the tombola is Mikel Miller, and then the club ball. Number 24, Luton Town. We've seen Akeem Doffin, who might be interested from Ipswich and Sunderland. Now we can see where that's come from, because they're the clubs with the big money in this league. So it's like, just stick them on it. That'll make sense. What else have we seen? Interesting, Cole Stockton. But then that's us alongside Middlesbrough, Luton and Bolton. It's like, okay. Can't see us signing Cole Stockton. He's a little bit too similar to Michael Smith, and I don't think he was set.
I need to put this out there, because that's one of the rumours that's really, really wound me up. So I'm really, really good friends with one of the people that supports Morecambe, Shrimps Online, writes an analytical piece week in, week out. Tom Collins, if you're watching, then hi. You're probably not, because it's a Rotherham thing, so that'd be really weird. Cole Stockton is a very similar situation to us with Michael Smith. For us, we're not going to sell Smith because it throws the opportunity of us going up down the kibosh. For them, if they were to sell Cole Stockton, they'd be relegated. Simple as. I don't think they could get a player of that quality. That said, if they were to sell him, they've got a decent contract on him, so they'd want 2-3 million. We're not going to pay that.
No,
so
at all.
It's a non-starter for me.
And they can ask for that because they've got cash in bank.
Here.
You look at the Spurs FA Cup tie. They got as much money from FA Cup tie as they would from selling Cole Stockton, so they don't need to sell him. which is a good position.
Worth mentioning as well, the people that are saying that Michael Smith is a very similar player to Cole Stockton, he's absolutely not. He is dreadful in the air.
Yeah, but Will, you've got that wrong, mate, because they're both tall.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, what have you been watching?
Have you read that on Football League World? Because they only tweet truths as well.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Oh, that's another one that I've seen. The whole thing about Freddie Ladipo's going to Sunderland. It's like, no, he's not going to get out. Go away.
That's 2 and 2 and 6, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, exactly. But the one that I found that was like half right was people saying that Josh KO has been shown interest by multiple League One clubs. That bit's true because they have had phone calls about him. But then they ruined it by saying, but one is reluctant to sell his star man. First of all, we wouldn't be selling him; it'd be a loan. And second of all, he's not going anywhere because Warner and KO have just said in the advertiser this week that they want to stay here, and his next phase of his development is here. So that's out at window as well. What other ones I've seen? Did you see the one about a swap deal with Sean Maguire at Preston?
Yes.
Yeah, that one caught my eye a little bit for the fact that Sean Maguire has made 18 appearances for Preston, but I think he's scored once and assisted twice.
Who? Coyote?
Fred.
No, for Freddie. So Freddie will go Preston, but again, I can't see Preston coming in for a player like Freddie, personally. But it's all about, isn't it? I think that's the last one I've seen. Everyone's gone quiet now, haven't they? Because they've sort of realised that actually these lads know what they're talking about and they dismiss it very quickly.
Again, for me, there's no confirmed interest in Sean Maguire, and for me, that's why I wouldn't want to speak about it. Purely because in that situation, we know how unsettling it can be. From our own situation. So, just out of respect to Preston, if anything does come, Sean Maguire's an unbelievable player and would be great at Rotherham United, but he's not our player. So it's a non-event for me until something official comes out. I'm not even going to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the one thing that sparked a bit of interest is we were interested in him in the summer before we signed Grigg. But I think Preston said a very stick no when we put a bid on him. I can't quite remember. I think they rejected a bid from us for him under whatever guys, whether it was the player not wanting to come or the bid not being high enough. But that might be where they've sort of got that rumour from. It's like, one player's leaving, they wanted this player. Swap deal, that'll do.
Yeah.
Type, push.
I'm surprised we've not seen more Freddie rumours to random places because it's fair game now. It's a transfer request for these clowns, isn't it? I thought.
That's true.
The whole issue with Freddie here is the amount of money that you're going to have to pay to get him out of Rotherham United because, the direct quote, I believe, from Mr. Stewart is, Sir Tony Stewart, he's a different player now. We've developed him and he's showing greater quality. So they're going to want more than the 400 plus add-ons that we've already paid. Who's realistically got that sort of money and he's going to take a gamble on him at this sort of stage? You look at potentially, I'm going completely against what I've just said, but if Chris Wood goes from Newcastle to Burnley, are Kiefer then going to look at Burnley going to look at Kiefer? Is what I'm trying to get out there. Is that an option there? Not for me to speculate, but yeah, I don't know who's going to pay that sort of money. I think there'll be a lot of clubs that just try and wait until end of season and see what the game is there. To be honest,
I mean, it's one of these. I was just going to say, as one of these Twitter accounts has already said, I mean, who wouldn't want a big, strong, physical striker like Freddie Ladapo?
Yeah,
that was second tier. To be fair, that were a reasonable podcast. Yeah.
Oh, we've spoken to them a few times. What? Was that like an April Fool's thing?
No, I don't think so.
He's
what
not particularly strong, and he's definitely not physical. Apart from that, they're about right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you talk about the Chris Wood one. These things can have knock-on effects because now Burnley have £25 million extra spend. Let's say they could spend $10 million on Kiefer Moore. That gives Cardiff extra money to spend, which will give somebody else a bit more money to spend, which could trickle down to somebody like Freddie, who is available. it only takes one deal to have a massive domino effect, as we've seen with other
that's true.
For definite, and I mean that could be really, really helpful for us. For me, if we're fetching someone in, I would prefer to look at the other end of the spectrum and look at sides that are players that are performing in League Two and potentially further down from that as well, because we've got Josh and Will already, so we could probably fetch in a striker that's happy to be striker number 3, striker number 4, use it as a bit of a project, but who knows? I don't know the club's transfer plans. I don't know what we're trying to sign. I'm sure there's a plan in place, and I trust the club implicitly to do what they need to do.
Bang on.
Yeah, I think so.
Ben, anything you want to add? You've been very quiet for 20 minutes.
Not really.
Cool. Go last.
Right, moving on.
Nevaeh's mum is with us, Tanner's with us. I hope we're all well. Still full of the Freddie, and she says put JJ in his position, which is a fair shot. Well, so I think one way or another we will see JJ this weekend. Hoping so anyway. I think we're done. Last call for anything else?
We'll talk about NFL playoffs if you want.
No.
First round.
That's all we've got time for.
When you said Titans earlier, you were like, "Oh, I'm going to watch Titans." I was like, "Oh, Tennessee." And you said Rotherham. So.
No difference, mate.
Only Thursday Rotherham.
Oh, get out of it! Who just said there's not a lot of difference? Who just said there's not a lot of difference? Get out of it!
Similar shit ball, mate.
American football is a thinking man's game.
Sure, you want to have this conversation once we finish recording, yeah? Right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to it because we're nearly at 450 and we'd love you if you can. I should also give a shout out. If you want, go on our Twitter page, you will see we're doing a competition where you can win a print that they've done for New York Stadium. If you go onto our tweet and retweet it and follow us and follow Matthew Hayward, I think it is. Check the tweet. I'll pin it to our Twitter account. If you retweet it, follow us, follow him, we will then draw you out of a hat on Friday evening time to win what is, I think, a really nice portrait. I can't think what the right word is now. It's of the New York Stadium. Print of New York Stadium. I will pin it to our Twitter account as we speak so that everybody can go to our Twitter account. And I've muted it instead of pinning it. That's my fault. There we go.
Nice,
it's pinned. So follow us and Matthew J. Wood on Twitter. Retweet it and you'll be in with a chance of winning it. I think it looks really cool. We will be back on Sunday night. We will have a review of Fleetwood Town and we'll preview as the Saturday, Tuesday games start properly. With Lincoln City coming to town, we'll hopefully have pulled away by then. Thank you all for watching, listening. We all appreciate all the usual stuff, but we still mean it every single week we say it. Will, it's been great to have you back on, mate. We'll certainly, hopefully, have you again soon. Thank you very much. And Ben, your best contribution of the episode was your advert. So, thank you.
Appreciate that.
And Nick, thank you for coming as always.
Yeah, thanks.
And Danny, it's always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for coming.
Yep, always a pleasure. Looking forward to going to Fleetwood for the first time. And hopefully it doesn't rain because I'm on standing.
Good luck. Yeah, safe travels to everybody going to Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Let's hope it means 3 points back with you. Thank you very much.
Fingers crossed.
See you Sunday.
Bye.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Can Freddie turn his shoot? Can take a shot?
Apologies to the neighbours.